presentation of our nation's colors and the singing of the national anthem by FDNY firefighter Brian Palazzola.
Present. Huh.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Order. Huh.
Thank you, Firefighter Palazzola. Please remain standing for the invocation by NYPD Chaplain, Deputy Chief Chaplain, Father George Anastasiou.
Hooray. Rest.
Heavenly King, Comforter, the Spirit of Truth, who are ever present and fill all things, we offer sincere and profound thanks to you for bringing us together as a family of love. First and foremost, to honor the life, the service, and the ultimate sacrifices paid by all of our first responders. Second, Heavenly Father, you afford us the opportunity to celebrate the great work of the First Responders Children's Foundation, an organization dedicated to love, to service, and sacrifice, just like our first responders. We ask that you bless all their work and every single one of their endeavors. And as always, we humbly ask that you return all of our first responders home safe to their families who anxiously await their return. Amen.
Thank you, Father George. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. And now, it's my pleasure to introduce the Police Commissioner of the City of New York, the Honorable Edward Caban.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Police Headquarters. It is an honor to be joined here today by Jillian Crane, Al Khan, and others from the board and staff of the First Responders Children's Foundation, along with Fire Commissioner Kavanagh. And on behalf of the families nationwide who rely on this great organization, I want to take this opportunity to say thank you. Our first responders have a very hard job, but in many ways, what their families do to make that job possible is even harder. There is so much to balance, and the stress of this work can be relentless. So when you add the cost of putting children through college, the pressure these families are under is extreme. That is when the foundation steps in and makes a huge difference in people's lives. They understand, just like we do, that it takes a team effort to succeed. And they know how important it is to take care of the people who work so hard to take care of us. This is especially true when we talk about our line of duty families. And we are honored to have some of them here with us today. As we all know, September 11th, 2001 was the most painful day in our city's history. And 22 years later, it still hurts. The families here understand this all too well, as do all our first responder families who still suffer from the aftermath of their work at Ground Zero. The 9/11 illness crisis is growing bigger every day. That is why we will continue to do everything we can to support those who need our help. Families like the Hendrickson Slacks, the Romanos, the O'Hagans, the Zanes, the Smalls, and so many others. These heroes embody everything that's exceptional and meaningful about this work. And every day we try to live up to the example they set. Now their sons and daughters are taking their own place in the world. And we are so grateful to the First Responders Children's Foundation for helping to make that possible. Thank you again to the Foundation for the work you do every day on behalf of public servants across the country. Thank you to the Foundation sponsors for being so generous and providing these opportunities. And most of all, thank you to the police officers, the firefighters, the paramedics and EMTs, the 9/11 dispatchers, and all the first responders who dedicate their lives to helping others. They are truly special people with very special families, and it is my great privilege to work with them. Best of luck to all of you. Stay safe, and God bless.
Thank you, Commissioner Caban. It's now my pleasure to introduce the Fire Commissioner of the City of New York, the Honorable Laura Kavanagh.
Thank you, and good afternoon. And as the Commissioner said, thank you to Jillian and Al and all of your supporters and your board for everything you do. Thank you to Commissioner Caban and your members for serving alongside mine every day in service of our city. Thank you all for being here. This is truly a great event and one I am always so happy to attend. The First Responders Children Foundation is an invaluable resource to our families of first responders. We are so grateful for the support offered by this amazing group and the efforts that continue every day. Because of the FRCF, the families of the FDNY members, as well as those from the NYPD, have been well taken care of. The financial support provided by the Foundation to children who have lost a parent in the line of duty, as well as families enduring significant struggles due to tragic circumstances, is truly tremendous. The work the organization does to support our children, whose innocent lives have been altered because of the bravery and the selflessness of their parents, is unmatched. We know the partnership between our department and the Foundation is one that we will continue to support and foster for decades to come. Today is about the future. Today is about our children's future. I am honored to be here as the Foundation gives college scholarships to the families of multiple first responders. 44 of those families belong to the FDNY. This is an incredible gesture and one that is certain to make an impact on the futures of our brightest assets, our children. To the Foundation, I say thank you. Thank you for your important mission, for the time and support you share with our families, and for continuing to show up for our first responder families in their darkest hours. And to our scholarship recipients, I say congratulations. This is an amazing accomplishment. College is an incredible experience in which you will grow and learn and shape the rest of your lives. Know your family, your FDNY family, your Foundation family, your NYPD family, are infinitely proud of all you have accomplished. Embrace the next years of your life and know we are all here, standing in your corner, cheering you on. Congratulations, and thank you again to the Foundation. We are so honored and humbled to work alongside of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Kavanagh. It's now my pleasure to introduce the President and CEO of the First Responders Children's Foundation, Ms. Jillian Crane.
Thank you, everyone. And again, I want to third the thank you to everybody here today. It's a summer day. It's August. You are all going off to school imminently. So thank you for spending your afternoons with us. And thank you to the Commissioner Caban, and your entire team for hosting today's event. I would love to recognize both Commissioners, Caban and Commissioner Kavanagh, all the NYPD members and the FDNY members and their families here today. I have to give a special shout out to to Patrick Gordon, Sergeant Patrick Gordon, who is always saying, yes, how can I help first responder families, to both of the offices of the commissioners for jumping in literally in 10 days, and to all of the families who said, yes, they could make it today. Really, we appreciate being here. We appreciate celebrating you and sending you off to a wonderful academic year. I also want to recognize our founder and chairman, Al Kahn, whose commitment to children of first responders since 2001 has shaped this foundation, has shown all of us in the staff what it is to believe that children are the future, to believe that first responders deserve our support and their families are their most important asset. So to thank you for all the impact, positive impact. You have affected over thousands of children of first responders around the country. And I think everyone jumped in to make this announcement today together is because we all recognize what Commissioner Caban and Commissioner Kavanagh just said, which is that children of first responders face a unique set of challenges, a unique set of events that happen in your life, and that we understand that it's not just the first responder parent going out and serving the community, but the children who are also serving and the spouses who are serving, and we appreciate that together and we understand that. So we want to thank you as family members for your service. One of the ways the First Responders Children's Foundation helps children of first responders kind of overcome these hurdles is our scholarship program. We provide that springboard for trade school, university, graduate school to the children of first responders to help you create your dreams and reach your full potential. So today we are very proud to announce this year we are awarding 413 scholarships to children of first responders around the nation. It's $1.14 million. Nearly a quarter of these scholarships are going to the children of the New York City first responder community, the NYPD, FDNY, corrections officers, totaling more than $240,000 for this academic year. And these scholarships are made possible by the First Responders Children's Foundation board, our donors, our corporate partners. We literally could not be here doing the work we're doing without Cisco Systems and Scooter Braun and CSX, Pride and Service, and Devon Energy and PwC and the Rosewood Foundation and TIAA and Universal Music Group Nashville. These are also people that jumped in and said yes to supporting all of the children of first responders around the country. And even though they're not here today, their spirit is here today in every single scholarship we're giving out to you. So I want to give them a special thank you. So to the reason we're here, which is our new scholarships that are here today, we want to welcome you to the First Responders Children's Foundation family and also to our Scholars Council. You are now one of 500 or 600 children this year around the country who are part of our Scholarship Council. And you will meet and have peer-to-peer support and have speakers panels, and we'll be coming to various chiefs and members of the NYPD and FDNY to speak to all of you, because we're here to offer career advice. You are part of our family. And there's one thing that we want you and your families to know, which is that we are here for you. We continue to be here for you, and we send our love, and we send you on your journey this year with all the promise that I already see in each of your eyes. So congratulations, and once again, thank you to all the first responders in the room for your service to your communities. Thank you.
And thank you, Ms. Crane. It's now my pleasure to introduce the chairman and the founder of the First Responders Children's Foundation, Mr. Al Kahn.
You know, I've learned in my business, you never follow a great speaker or animals. You know, that's a bad thing to do. So I'm in the process of only having 3 great speakers before I ended up getting up here. I want to say one thing, and that's all I want to say. In our lives, there's only one thing that I think makes us, it's important to us. It should be. It's families and children. Everything else is only a way of getting to that particular position. If you don't have the appropriate resources, or you don't have the appropriate ability to help children, what do you have down the road? If you're building the biggest building, or you're building the biggest whatever it might be, it's immaterial if there's not a great amount of children who will be benefiting from that. So it's our job to make sure that the next generation, your children, your children's children, are very much in line with what we want to do to establish their help. I also want to thank the first responders that are here, the commissioners, of course, all their officers, all the people that work for the foundation, and also work for the fire departments, the police department. Thank you for your service. But I want to say this in one thing only. Without children, we are nothing. And that our job is to make sure that children, especially of first responders, who go through infinite amounts of sacrifices in terms of obviously the most ultimate sacrifice of losing a parent. I lost a parent when I was 15 years old. He wasn't the first responder, but he was my dad. And I lost him. I lost him on Christmas morning. And I realized that my life was going to be eternally changed from that particular moment. The morning of 9/11, when I got a call from the DEA that said that a plane had crashed into the Twin Towers, and they said, "Would you like to go see it?" Because they thought initially it was an accident. So I got picked up by the DEA. We drove down the FDR Drive, and the second plane hit. And we realized it was a terrorist attack. We were driven back to DEA headquarters, where we spent about 7 hours trying to figure out what was going on in terms of that. But then I realized that 800 children that morning had lost a first responder parent. 800 children. And it was in September, and you have Christmas and you have Thanksgiving coming up in 2 months. And I said, what can we do to do something for these children to give their holiday at least some degree of happiness, or at least some degree of normalcy. So I took a ride down the parade route, which at that time I think was on 6th Avenue, and there was a thing there called the ESPN zone, if you remember that. And I called them up and I said, what do you do on Thanksgiving morning? He said, well, we're closed because the parade comes right past. And I go, how many people can you sit in your restaurant? He said, we can fit about 1,300. So I called up the mayor's office, so I knew no one at the mayor's office. And look at what I got. I got a guy named Larry Levy, who was Rudy Giuliani's chief of staff. And I explained to him what I wanted to do. I wanted to bring all the first responder families together on Thanksgiving morning who had lost somebody at that morning, at 9/11. And I didn't realize that they had gotten 1,000 requests for stuff. They had gotten all kinds of requests. And I ended up turning around and they said to me, you can do it. And we did it that first year. We had people from Washington show up. We had no publicity, obviously. I'm in the kids business, so we had thousands of toys. And we just basically watched all these really young children. These kids were 2, 3, 4 years old. And the parents were just hysterical. I mean, it was just, you can imagine how hysterical they were. And I realized at that moment in time, these children are going to need this help, not only every Christmas or every Thanksgiving, but throughout the rest of the time until they get to be their own adults. And that's when we decided to start the foundation. And I'm so blessed. I thank God every day for the staff, for Jillian and for the staff, but also thank you for your service. And I hope that someday you won't need us. I really do. But until that day comes, we're going to be here for you. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Khan. And now we're going to hear from one of the parents. So it's my pleasure to introduce the parent of scholarship recipient Gianna Timpone, her mom, Miss Janine Timpone.
Bear with me a second. Hi. You hear me? Okay. Hi, my name is Janine Timpone. I'm the proud mom of 3 beautiful kids, Gianna, Francis, and Victoria. My oldest, Gianna, is going into her 3rd year at Manhattanville College studying dance and business. Her dream is to one day become a future Radio City Rockette. Then we have my Francis, just finishing up his 1st year at SUNY Maritime College. Last night, he just got back from his first summer C-term program with the college, so this is perfect timing. I'm so happy that he is here with us today to celebrate this special occasion. Lastly, we have my baby Victoria, a sophomore in high school, who is part of the NYPD Explorers program. Can't leave her out. But Gianna and Francis are current recipients. When Jillian asked if I could say a few words, I was so honored that she would think of me like that. After this foundation has done for me, my family, no way I could have said no to that. I said to myself, it's time for me to let them know how I feel, even though I hope through the numerous emails they should already know by now how special they are to me. So here I go. I am up here like a regular everyday mom and wife, going through the normal daily family trials and tribulations with teenagers living in this tough New York City we now live in. My husband being a New York City fireman through many of the toughest times and experiencing his own medical conditions. My children experiencing many challenges. Then along comes the Children's Foundation like angels out of the blue. I can't tell you how thankful I am to Jillian, Al, and all the staff at the foundation for their true personal support for my family. They truly are such real, genuine, down-to-earth people who I so appreciate. Being part of the FDNY and also NYPD, you know what the word second family is all about. You also know it's not a normal 9-to-5 job. These men and women are up against some of the toughest situations that are thrown their way every time they are on tour. We as family members do our jobs at home to love and support them. The Children's Foundation is now supporting and helping them. Wow, what a dream come true for my family. We have a nice family, a second big FDNY family, and now an even bigger Children's Foundation family. How blessed are we? Congratulations to all the families and students that are part of this wonderful foundation. I know there are families all across the country part of it, so it doesn't matter where you are located. Know we are all here for the same purpose, to be supportive and thankful to our first responders, and especially the First Responders Children's Foundation. Thank you so much for all you do.
Thank you, Ms. Timpone. And now we'd like to hear from one of our actual recipients. It's my pleasure to introduce scholarship recipient Adriana Hendrickson Slack.
Thank you. Okay. Hi, everybody. So my name is Adriana Hendrickson Slack. I'm a sophomore at New York University in this great big city, and I'm 18 years old, and I have 2 sisters. To be honest, growing up, I always thought I lucked out when I used to brag, and still do, that my mom was an NYPD detective and a nurse. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world, and people would reply with, "How did she manage to do that?" And my answer then is still my answer now. I have no idea. When it came to my mother's job as a detective, not knowing was a huge part. My mother wouldn't know what cases she would be assigned and what action she would take when she shielded up, and what the day would bring on 9/11. 9/11 is my oldest sister's birthday. And on September 11th, 2001, my mother's plan was to visit my sister, who was spending her birthday upstate. As it would turn out, my mother never left the city that day. When the towers fell, my mother was assigned only a few blocks away. She sprung into action, and with all the selflessness in her body, she guided civilians out of the city through ash and rubble. My cousin was in those towers, and she did not make it out, but I know she would have been proud knowing that her cousin, my mother, was doing everything that she could to help. My mom would tell me the stories of how she never went to sleep the days after 9/11, shift after shift after shift. She stayed in Manhattan and was assigned search and rescue at the Twin Towers, helping to the best of her abilities, but her abilities soon became weak after many days among the smoke and smog. She started to gain respiratory problems and couldn't walk very far until she would need an inhaler. Now, of course, growing up, I knew my mom was Superwoman. She's a first-generation college student and immigrated from the Virgin Islands to New York at 8 years old and raised her children all by herself. But how come Superwoman couldn't go on class field trips with me, run around the track with me, or even walk to the airport gate without a wheelchair, would even walk to the airport gate with me without a wheelchair? It was because this Superwoman sacrificed her lungs for others. I used to get so upset because my mom wasn't like other moms. I was so angry that she couldn't do these things with me without difficulty. But my mother was never angry because she risked her lungs to save lives. And I couldn't be more proud of her. I want to help others just like my mom does, and that is why I decided to study global public health at NYU, because I want to help underprivileged communities gain better resources for better health. This first started when I created my very first food drive in an underprivileged neighborhood. I want to travel the world and help people I've never met before. And you might say I'm crazy for thinking that, but I know where I get it from. I get it from my mama. I'm the secretary of the NYU Caribbean Student Association, and I am a part of the Opportunities Program. Although my major is global public health, my concentration is anthropology, and that is the study of humans and their cultures. I chose this concentration because I am a people person. I love to learn about people and their stories, and I'm thankful that I get to share my mother and I's story today, and I'm extremely grateful that the First Responders Children's Foundation has given me this platform to tell my story. Being that my mom is a single mother, it has been extremely tough putting both my sister and I into college at the same time. But when I found out about the First Responders Children's Foundation and all of the wholesome work that they have done, and I knew that they could potentially help me, and with their kind hearts, they did. I don't know how my family would have made it through this semester, but I thank God that this foundation fell right into my lap. People would always feel bad for me once I told them that my mother was a first responder in 9/11, but I never felt bad for myself. Instead, I felt honored that I get to call retired Detective Hendrickson Slack, my mom,
Thank you, Ms. Hendrickson Slack, and congratulations. Best of luck in NYU. At this time, I am going to invite Ms. Crane and Mr. Khan up for the presentation of the certificates. I would also like to invite Commissioner Caban and Commissioner Kavanagh up as well to join them. Oh, we're going to bring this side, sir. To our scholarship recipients, as your name is called, please approach to receive your certificate from the foundation. Our first recipient, Adriana Hendrickson Slack. Katriana Bellew. So they should go in the middle, just take a quick photo.
What did you get?
Yes, we get a picture and we'll bring it on. Good, go ahead. Claire Cook. Alyssa Cruz. Carlos Humala. Colleen Kelly. Tyler Moore. Christian O'Hagan. Jordan Romano. Alex Sullivan. Francis Timpone. Gianna Timpone. Yep. Our next recipient, Robert Zane. And lastly, Devon McKay. Thank you very much. Let's have a round of applause for all our college, scholarship recipients. Now I'm going to ask everybody to please rise for our benediction by Fire Department Chaplain Reverend Ann Cansfield.
Parade, rest.
So this is really about you guys, okay? Everybody else, are you a little excited to go back to school, a little terrified, a little worried? I bet your loved ones here are also a little excited, a little worried. When I was in college, I kind of swore I was going to fail out. I was terrified of that. Figured I wouldn't make any friends. I was a hot mess. I had a lot to be worried about. And now I have kids, and they're looking at starting school, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm terrified for them because it's like part of your heart is walking in the world on your own, right? So I think I have a bit of a solution for this year, okay? First off, I'm going to ask everybody here if they would be willing to make a commitment to pray for you every day. Okay, if you're willing to do that, just raise your hand. Don't look at them. They're making this quietly in their heart while raising their hand so you can kind of see that there's some commitment here, okay? And I want you guys to commit that if you find yourself in any kind of trouble, any kind of doubts, any kind of anything, that you'll reach out to people for help, okay? Because inside, just in this room, we can solve any problem that might happen. And so this should free you up to know that you have an entire brain trust of people who are praying for you and cheering you on and wishing you well every single day. And that's what this is about. Al and Jillian work hard every day to go and raise all this money. And I know you feel like, hey, this is great, we got some money. But even better, you have a whole team of people that you don't even know about who will answer your calls and cheer you on. I'm very findable. You can Google me anytime, call me anytime. I will pick you up in my unmarked Prius. I'll take you to wherever you need to go. Do you promise to go and ask for help when you need it? Look at that. We're ready to go. May God bless you and keep you. May God's face shine upon you. May you be surrounded by all of this love. And know that you are just fine and this is going to be the greatest year. Now and always. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Cansfield. Ladies and gentlemen, before we conclude, I'm going to invite you all to join us in the singing of God Bless America, led by NYPD Police Officer Taylor Cannon.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home.
Thank you, Officer Cannon. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Police Commissioner Caban, Fire Commissioner Kavanagh, and the First Responders Children's Foundation, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. We're going to invite all the college scholarship recipients to your left of the room over here on the side. We're going to set up the color guard to take a big group photo. After that, everyone please, I believe there's some refreshments outside. Help yourself. Have a pleasant day and a safe trip home. Thank you.